Jodie Foster's life in front of the camera started almost before she could walk. At just 3 years old, she appeared in a Coppertone commercial, and just like that, the spotlight found her.
I have given everything up there from the time that I was 3 years old.
Fast forward a couple of decades, and before Jodie even turned 30, she already had 2 Oscars on her shelf. Sounds like a dream, right? But as you know, fame doesn't come without a cost, and Jodie's story proves that talent and success don't shield you from hardship. Here's the thing that might surprise you most. Jodie Foster never wanted fame. Not as a child, not as an adult. Acting was never her choice in the beginning. It was a necessity. And while she's always loved the craft, the attention that comes with it, not so much. Jodie has been very clear about that.
I'm 100% an introvert. I've never been okay with being a public figure. It's not something that's ever felt okay to me.
Jodie tried hard to draw a clear line between her work and her personal world. Acting stayed on one side, real life on the other.
If you had been a public figure from the time that you were a toddler, if you'd had to fight for a life that felt real and honest and normal against all odds, then maybe then you too might value privacy above all else.
But no matter how private you are, some stories still find their way out, especially when they involve family. Jodie never had a relationship with her father, Lucius Foster. He left her mother before Jodie was even born and remained mostly absent. He lives somewhere in LA, she told the Washington Post in 1993. I've met him about 3 times.
What impact did that have?
None, because I've never known him. It's why I sort of never talk about him, because he hasn't been a part of my life, so it would be like kind of giving credit to somebody who wasn't around.
Their lives couldn't have been more different. And in 2011, Lucius made headlines for all the wrong reasons when he was sentenced to prison for scamming elderly and low-income people. What made the situation even more uncomfortable was the allegation that he used Jodie's famous name to gain trust, something he strongly denied. Lucius followed his daughter's career from afar, but never sought reconciliation. Though he was struggling financially, Lucius made it clear he didn't want or expect help from Jodie. "I don't want any help from anybody," he said. That distance remained until the end of his life, when he passed away in 2016 after battling Alzheimer's. And while her father was absent, Jodie carried an enormous responsibility at a shockingly young age. Raised by a single mother struggling to support 4 children, Jodie, along with her older brother, began working in commercials to help pay the bills. But as Jodie's career took off and her brother's didn't, the pressure landed squarely on her shoulders. By the time she was in 1st grade, Jodie was the family's only source of income.
It probably looked like, in some ways, that I took care of the family. And that was part of my personality, yeah.
Imagine that for a moment. While other kids were learning to read, she was supporting an entire household. That reality flipped the traditional parent-child dynamic. Jodie didn't just work. She took care of her mother, Brandy, who was also her manager. Their relationship was loving but complicated, shaped by survival rather than choice. "I had to take care of her, and that pretty much meant I had to wake up and go to work," she told Parade in 2008. And when Jodie won her Oscar for The Silence of the Lambs, she made sure to acknowledge the woman who raised her and pushed her forward.
And most of all, I'd like to thank my mother, Brandy, my friend, the person who has loved me so much and so well that she taught me in inimitable little man Tate fashion to fly away. Thank you.
Privacy has always been sacred to Jodie, which is why one of the deepest betrayals came from inside her own family. In his 1997 tell-all book, Foster Child, a biography of Jodie Foster, her brother Buddy wrote that he grew up with 2 gay parents, their mother and their Aunt Jo, and implied that Jodie's sexuality was simply part of their family background. Jodie, who rarely addresses rumors and hadn't come out at the time, was furious. But while the invasion of her own privacy was painful, she seemed even more upset by the way Buddy portrayed their mother, Brandy, whom he described as aggressive and dysfunctional. Publicly distancing herself from him, Jodie said, "I and my family consider him a distant acquaintance motivated solely by greed and sour grapes." She added that she felt mostly sad for her mother, who had spent her life struggling to raise 4 children on her own with dignity and strength of character. For someone who had spent her entire life being observed without consent, this crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. For years, Jodie Foster kept her love life private. We can't blame her. Jodie became an actress at just 5 years old. When she was only 17, the questions about her love life started rolling in, and every time Jodie would evade them, not giving the exact answers the public wanted.
Do you have a steady boyfriend?
No, no, I don't have time, and I suppose I don't think about it very much.
Foster was protecting her peace, but when you're an actress, the public doesn't care much for that. Eventually, media outlets and fans began speculating about her sexuality. In 1991, a number of publications printed rumors about Foster's supposed homosexuality. They even went so far as to label her a closeted lesbian. And what did Jodie do when this happened? Nothing. She kept quiet and let her work speak for her. She continued living her life away from the spotlight. That's why when she met her first lover, the Taxi Driver star kept the romance low-key for a very long time. It was 1993 when Foster met Sydney Bernard, a producer. Foster was in her early 30s and had spent most of her career dodging questions about what kind of fella she likes. She and Bernard quietly lived out their romance together. Eventually, they welcomed 2 sons, Charlie and Kit. Jodie and Sydney had been in a committed relationship since the early 90s, but the first time the actress ever publicly acknowledged her partner was in 2007. This was at the Hollywood Reporter's Women in Entertainment event. In her speech, Jodie thanked her loved ones for their support, including her darling lover. "My beautiful Sydney, who sticks with me through all the rotten and the bliss," Jodie said. How sweet. Sadly, Foster and Bernard's love story came to an end in 2008, 1 year after the public confession. From then, she and Bernard were focused on co-parenting their children together. By 2013, Foster gave her famous coming out speech at the Golden Globes. She joked about it not being an actual coming out speech, saying she already did that about 1,000 years ago.
Those very quaint days when a fragile young girl would open up to trusted friends and family, co-workers, and then gradually, proudly to everyone who knew her, to everyone she actually met.
The actress also added in the speech that she was single. Well, not really, but really. Kinda single, but not really single. Confusing, huh? Foster was hinting at her romance with Alexandra Hedison. Hedison is a photographer, actress, and director. Don't these two make the cutest pair? The lovebirds exchanged vows in 2014. They've kept a relatively low profile together. But every now and then, Hedison posts a loved-up picture on her Instagram. She once posted an adorable picture of herself photographing Jodie. "What happens in quarantine stays in quarantine. Every day I'm a proud wife, but today you get a special shout-out in the remote land of IG," Alexandra wrote. How sweet is that? Oh, and those red carpet moments. We live for them. Jodie and Alexandra have always been super supportive of each other in their careers. In 2021, the star won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. If you remember, the awards show was during COVID, so some guests, like Jodie, attended remotely. Foster was at home with her wife, both wearing silk pajamas. In her speech, the actress expressed her love by saying, "I love my wife. Thank you, Alex." Foster also put on some PDA by sharing a kiss on camera. This iconic display of coolness and queer joy sent fans into a frenzy. Many took to social media to comment on such a power move. Are you a fan of Jodie and Alex? Share with us in the comments. That's all we have for you today. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more celebrity stories. Be well and be kind.